approval to build a house there, and that's rolling along quite well. And so I wanted to come and talk about possibly putting a shop on the farm here for the spreading business that I have. I own a business called PJ Spreading, and we spread wood shavings and poultry houses all over Langston County, Lebanon County, and on the west side of the river as well. We do a lot of work with Bell and Evans houses. That was kind of one of the main reasons why we moved into the area. We lived in Strasburg before, and so my business, we pretty much own equipment that installs the wood shavings in poultry houses. We work with shaving suppliers who bring the material to the farms that we're working on. I don't handle bedding material, or I don't handle bulk material myself. It's all, I work with different suppliers that bring it to the farm. So we just show up with our spreading equipment. So I just need a building pretty much to keep my equipment out of the weather, keep it clean, do a little bit of maintenance on it, keep the shavings out of the filters, and change oil and that sort of thing. So yeah, that's what we're proposing to do. As well as, I'll just kind of like go over, I don't have this shown here, but the plan is also for us to plant a new orchard on the, I guess it'd be like the southeast corner of on the plan here. It would be like the section that's lighter colored, which would be like around where the building that I'm proposing to put there. So the orchard that's there now is in pretty bad shape. We're going to take that all out and do some pastured meats on the back side. And then on the front side, we'd like to plant a new orchard so that way people can still come and pick apples and sell apples. So,
how many acres is Sycamore Springs?
it's 82. It's the total acres.
And is the building you're looking at like 3-sided, 4-sided? Is it steel?
It would be 4-sided, and yeah, it would be a metal building, or steel, yeah, steel sided.
And then if you're looking at the chart, from corner to corner and then down towards the shop, that's withheld, that's not actually preserved.
That's what I thought.
Yeah, it just doesn't show it on this map, but
So,
Oh yeah.
so the 80 by 100 structure would be on preserved ground? Or?
yes, the 80 by 100 be unpreserved, and so would the proposed parking for pick your own, which I think that would be fine, right? Because it's parking for ag business,
Right.
so I don't think there's a problem with that.
So there shouldn't be a problem with the building either if he's using it for ag related.
Well, that's kind of the discussion
That's
we're
kind of
having.
the question, yeah.
Is like, does it have to be part of the system of the farm? Because like, the extreme example is like, can you have a tractor supply because it's an ag business, but it has nothing to do with the farm? And we didn't really get to a good answer of how that works. So if you have like a trucking business, like truck seed, and you just have a truck yard, I don't know if we have a good answer. I was under the assumption that it had to be part of the system of the farm. Yeah, I tried to speak with the state, and I don't think of what they said exactly. After speaking with the state, that was the kind of understanding I had, that it had to be a part of the system. But I don't have a clear answer in writing right now.
So he lives on the farm, or he's going to live on the farm?
Yes, he's building that proposed house now, which we voted on last time, which was no problem. Well, we didn't even vote because it didn't have any problems. And if you're looking at the section where it's like there's no buildings prescribed in the withheld area, that has septic, right? That's why nothing's building there. There's
Which side are you talking about?
the side over here.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's not like you can build anything there, right? Because
I think I can. They were at some point. I don't quite understand it. They were required to do like show a secondary septic
Oh,
system.
standby, yeah.
Yeah, so that standby system is along that line somewhere. So if we were to build there, we would, I guess, have to prove that we can put a secondary somewhere else maybe. I'm not sure what the reasoning was, why that was like that.
Yeah, I remember we were gonna withhold both sides, if I recall, so, or have it preserved on both sides, but because you can't really put
Oh,
a
right.
drive there, it's like, there's just no reason to.
Yeah.
So I guess that's the question, is like, can we allow a building that's not part of the system of the farm, is an ag-related field?
I will say that there is a horse barn with like a real small lean-to in the bottom corner of the property. There's really no ag buildings on the property. There's a track, we have some equipment, we'll probably be getting more for the orchard. This building, we will probably use some of this building for some of the equipment on the operations of the farm. There is a spray shed that's up over the hill that's not really, it was located for where the existing orchard is now. It's not really ideal for like where we're gonna plant new, so like, we may incorporate some of those things, in with this building as well. To support the new orchard.
What's the expected use in a 20 by 80 structure?
So I would like to, again, I don't know that this is kind of my wish list, I don't know that this is going to happen when I get into all the required codes and stormwater and things. Biosecurity is a big thing with avian flu, and I would like to be able to bring my trucks in, hit them, disinfect them, kind of have a line separation, they get in, everything's clean, and then they go out, around the lane and that sort of thing. So that's kind of what that was, to keep the wash down and then, yeah.
So like Sunrise Creamery in Myerstown.
No.
I don't think that's preserved, is it?
I don't know that. Is help me out. You know something.
Martin, yeah.
Rose Martin Farms Preserve,
I've never been there.
645,
I've never been there.
Hilltop Road.
One of the other people in our office might have been there, but
Do
I'm
you
not
have,
sure.
your photo on, Curtis?
I don't think, I don't remember.
Recall when we had.
I don't remember either that. So it was the other business, so the one business right next to
Are you asking if the creamery is gonna, can that count?
I'm just wondering, I'm just searching in my mind for examples that might apply, that might help us to, but maybe he isn't.
So if you can have a building to process the milk from your cows, and 50% come from your cows, and then if
Right.
you're selling that product under a farm, you can build a building to sell it as long as 50% of the product comes from your farm. Now, you can't just build a building to sell local produce that you buy around if you're not producing any.
So you have to be producing at least 50% on the farm.
Right, so that's why, the system thing, so it's like, how does this work with bedding? Unless you're producing 50% of the bedding, but it's not,
It's just a service.
So what about John Harrell when he has the custom operating business?
is he also spreading on his property?
Well, he's combining for other people, so he's combining his own corn, but not near 50% of his business is, a whole lot more than 50% of the business would be off the farm.
Yeah, and that's where it gets good faith, because I asked that, how am I supposed to check people's income for the year?
Right.
And it's like, it has to be good faith.
The challenge for me is I would gladly put up chicken houses, and then I could spread my own different felonies would not let me do that. They're concerned enough because I want to farm to farm, they don't want me to have my own.
Or what about your property, Dale? Like when you have the shavings business, that you sell shavings? Or is that not on your farm?
No, but that goes to farm.
It goes to farm, but it's not really.
I don't know, there's never a question.
I don't want to get him in trouble.
No. I'm just trying to figure out somebody that would be,
You need shavings.
If there's a precedent.
yeah, if there's somebody like it.
I think we have to be a little careful I mean, they're being honest with us, so that's good. I mean, if he had said, I wanna build an 80 by 100 shop because I have a dump truck business, we would probably say, well, that's not really farming. Just because this is farming related, I don't think really matters. But on the other hand, you could say, an 80 by 100 shop is not out of place to have that just for nursery equipment, or for your orchard. You know, you have a tractor, a sprayer, a couple of wagons or whatever.
Yeah.
I think that's reasonable to say that's for the orchard use, and I don't think we police it that closely to say you can't have spreaders in there or something. So I guess if he was looking to build like a giant shop that we would say is way oversized for the orchard, that's more, because his shaving business is huge, I would say, maybe a pause there, but I think this is a reasonable size for what the orchard could require. But I do think we'd have to be careful about allowing buildings for other businesses that aren't really farm related, but just because this is ag related, I wouldn't say that's the reason to allow it. That's just my opinion.
I tend to agree, and the definitions of what's happening when you build a building and what you use the building for the day after it's approved, there is really no enforcement mechanism in place. I mean, if it's built for the orchard and ends up there's wood shaving equipment in it, that's the loophole, for the sake of a better term, that exists. I don't.
Like this one here.
This has been I've been well aware of farms that have been running businesses, and no one's checking income tax returns to see, did 50%.
Sure.
And I don't think any of us want to start doing that. And I mean, it doesn't. I'm well aware of multiple preserve farms having businesses that are very. They're productive. Whether or not they're making 50%, I have no idea. I don't really care to know. But I don't think we need. I mean, I always want to err in the side of leniency.
So are we approving this on a case per case? We're approving this on a one case basis.
Yeah, precedence is always something
Right.
to consider.
Isn't there something about like $2,000 or something mentioned somewhere in the law? That you have to be producing $2,000 worth of agriculture to be considered a farm. And so,
Cleaning green,
Yeah, it's clean green.
and clean and green. Okay, there you go. And so if that's there, would that meet the criteria as long as he's making more than that?
This is the one.
Or can we set our own rules for the 50%, no more than 50% or whatever?
Well, you have the trucking business.
I don't think it fits into the. That's such a low bar.
It is a low bar, but that's what it is for clean and green.
Yeah.
And I know this is farm preservation, but I didn't know if there was a carryover or not in thought.
I mean, in the Philadelphia Range counties, there's 100-acre preserved farms that they have 100-acre lawns. They aren't making a penny, So.
I hear you.
I mean, the exact language, so if we're looking at the easement, in construction of buildings and other structures, it says the construction or use of any building or other structure for agricultural production or commercial equine activity is permitted. So it's other structure for agricultural production. It doesn't say agricultural services. I don't know what classifies as that.
Agricultural production, that could be related solely to the production of crops and dairy and on the farm, but it could also be interpreted much more broadly.
I mean, I was told you could sell your product, like you build a store to sell your product. That's not production, it's like a service.
So at least 50% of what you sell in the store has to come from the farm.
Yeah.
But you can also sell agriculturally related items in the store.
Mm-hmm. So that's not necessarily production either, but.
So I guess maybe the question is would 50% of this structure be used for, equipment for, the production on the farm? And if so, could the remaining 50% be used for storage of the shavings.
But he's not storing product on, that's not even part of it.
Just equipment.
So they have a definition here, actually. Agricultural production, the production for commercial purposes of crops, livestock, or livestock product if more than 50% of such processed or merchandised products are produced by the farm operator. This term includes the use of land which is developed to and meets the requirements and qualifications for payments and other compensation for the soil conservation program under the federal government. Okay. So 50% that is processed, merchandise product or produced by the farm.
This doesn't have any federal dollars preserving this.
No.
The federal easement.
Yeah, that was in italics, but
Okay.
I have a question, what's all the parking for?
Oh, which parking up front?
Any of it, all of it?
Well, that, if anyone's ever been to the market, who's been to the market? Alright. The parking at the market is wildly out of conformity.
yeah.
We will likely have to do major rework of that whole thing. At the moment that I've been told by my civil friend who's helping me out here that the moment we propose any kind of development on this corner, it's gonna go to the state and we're gonna have a whole heyday of revisions and improvements. So I just had a conversation with him and I just said, hey, drop me in a parking lot to show, new spaces and whatever. There's nothing really to how many spaces are shown. It's probably over.
That's withheld, that's not preserved.
Yeah, the
Oh,
corner.
okay,
Yeah, the
okay,
corner.
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, all right.
Yeah, I didn't have him
Oh, okay,
show.
I'm
I didn't
sorry.
show him. Yeah, I didn't have him show the preserved extents there. But.
Which one's withheld, which parcel's withheld?
It's basically the corner,
The big parking lot, right?
right there.
Okay.
I don't know exactly where the preserve line.
I think it goes. The line almost goes corner to corner.
That's not a 90, it doesn't, it just.
No, it doesn't go in. It just diagonals across. Then there is the access easement along that
Yeah.
property on Thompson. There is where the
Yeah, if we deny this, we open up a can of worms of every other farm that has ag services, that's currently providing ag services that there hasn't been any questions asked. The fact that he's asking, and obviously construction of buildings is a little different, but the fact that he's asking should not bring down a higher standard than what we're currently facing elsewhere. That's my opinion.
100% agree.
I agree 100%. And I agree with Dan, this building is not outsized, it's a normal agricultural sized building that would be built on preserved farm.
I think we
Store
could,
your sprayer in it.
yeah.
I think we could
We're not
maybe
gonna-
set a little bit dangerous precedent, maybe with the potential spray or cleaning area, since that's more geared towards the business, the shavings business.
That's actually off the preserved area.
Oh, that is one of held too?
I think with the easement, there's an access easement, like 50, is it like a 50-foot easement along that parcel boundary there on Thompson.
Yeah.
So that whole.
Oh, there's
right.
50 foot.
Yeah, it's to get, I'm not entirely sure why that's needed. Is it needed to?
So if you were to ever subdivide that,
Oh,
and then you
okay.
landlock it, so that's the only road access, so you have to have road access.
See, the previous owner said they weren't allowed, they tried to subdivide, and they said they weren't allowed to subdivide the corner off. of it.
Yeah.
I heard a lot of.
It's just a requirement from the state that if you're preserved, it has to have road access, which we were gonna have access on both sides, so that's why we couldn't do the one side, because septic, so we had to do that side.
Where do your driveway for your proposed home going to enter?
That's a secret. No.
It just sort of like ends there. The secret
So we got an access agreement off that back lane.
Oh, okay.
Apple Lane to come up the backside of
Got
the
it.
property. That was the whole, because originally we were gonna bring it out onto Thompson, and the civil guy was like, you're gonna get yourself into a whole can of worms with coming onto the corner, and so they didn't give us an easement when we bought it, but I was able to work it out with them and get it.
So that hasn't still had that.
Yeah, Shirley owns that. It's like a
That's what I thought. That makes sense.
Yeah.
It just, back to that, if that's not on the withheld area, that wash area, the only way I could see allowing that is if there'd be some type of use for it from the orchard, you know, if there,
Well, it would be a wash, I mean, I would use it to wash all the equipment on the farm.
so, I mean, that's,
I think still at times, you know, you have an easement that says what you can and can't do, there, it's not gonna address every single specific issue. And I don't know if, some of these things, I don't know if it is up to us, you know, I don't know if it would say as approved by the board, you know, Ag Land Preservation Board. It probably doesn't. So if it says this is what you can and can't do, and it's not clear, I don't really know if it's up to us to interpret a legal document.
We have Paul looking at it.
The other question to weigh is, does it affect the overarching purpose of farmland preservation? To provide open space to maintain ag land, you know, a quarter-acre building, or not even that, is, in my opinion, doesn't infringe at all on the overarching purpose of the preservation program.
Yeah, it would seem to me that this would be a pretty normal thing to put in a preserved farm.
Right.
I don't-
Now here it says 45 acres is what you're preserving. Right? Or am I reading it wrong?
No, he's already preserved.
This is a.
Oh, it's already preserved.
Yeah, it was preserved when he purchased the preserved property. It was preserved.
Okay, it says to be approved.
Which one?
Am I at the wrong one?
Yeah, what?
oh, these are all
They're not
the,
on that bill.
these are all the potential ones. And
This is
he
a-
purchased a property that's already been preserved. That's where the,
This is Mr. Hare, not Mr. Hit, so which one are you looking at?
Oh. Okay, it's H. How do you spell your last name?
Just like what's not on my head.
Okay.
H-A-I-R.
Okay, so close. Okay. Thank you. Because I'm thinking.
You're looking for a motion, Paul?
I'm looking for some clear understanding as to what we're looking at here. Pursuant to state regulations, section 138E, this appears definitely to be in a gray area as I read the language.
Well, that's for rural enterprise, isn't it?
Yes.
You can't build a building for rural enterprise, you can just use an existing building. So if he's building buildings, you have to argue that it's considered agricultural.
Well, then it gets even more gray.
Yeah, well, that's
Yeah.
over here.
So, well, I'm in favor of erring on the side of leniency. Looking at the language,
You know, personally, I think I'd probably not like to say, yes, you can do, you know, whatever you're proposing if it's gray, and then who's to say sometime down the road, another board or a judge or whoever this preservation easement, or the state or the federal, you know, is gonna come in and you know, interpret it differently than we do. And then they say, oh, but, I got approval from the Lebanon County Board. But would I go out and try to enforce, them to comply to what, and try to take legal action to prove that they're in violation? No, I wouldn't do that either.
I mean, if we approve it here, I could bring it to the state and see if they have a problem with it, or, you know, if they need to take it to their board, if we're concerned about that.
so it says the construction or use of a building or other structure for agricultural production is permitted.
Then this is classified as agricultural production, I guess. That's the
Agriculture,
question.
yeah, so that would,
I mean, you could argue it's supporting agricultural production, just like a custom chopper is supporting the production of crops
Right,
on a,
right.
on a farm.
It's
just,
just
I
not
think,
hard
the
to come up
challenge-
with other examples where
Yeah, I mean,
there's services.
It's definitely supporting agriculture.
But does an easement provide for approval by the Ag Preserve Board?
right, you'd say, does it,
it's kind of our role, to kind of oversee the program and oversee the enforcement of the easement, because, you know, we represent the county. The county has an interest in the easement, and it's our job to, provide enforcement of the easement on behalf of the county. So I would say, yes, we do have a role to play. Also, the state does too. So agricultural production is defined as the production for commercial purposes of crops, livestock, or livestock products, if more than 50% of such processed or merchandised products are produced by the farm operator. The term includes the use of land which is devoted to and meets the requirements of. See, it doesn't really, I mean, if we're talking about a building that's just being used for storage of equipment, then to me, it doesn't really even fall under this.
I was just thinking the same thing. So
Yeah.
how do we allow that?
So,
Can you build a corn crib?
where it's not provided for really, and it appears to me that the practical wisdom of, you know, the people who work in this business on a day-to-day basis would indicate that, you know, this should be permitted. I would interpret the gray area to say, to say that, you know, as far as this board goes, that it should be permitted. You could entertain a motion to that effect, but then I think we need to, you know, get clarification from the state. Yeah. That would,
So we would adopt a motion pending the state's approval.
contingent upon state approval. Yes.
Do we need to add that motion to like amend the agenda to have a motion for this?
What's the agendas?
Because I just had this under public comment, I didn't necessarily have a section for it.
Well, we just have public comment.
Yeah. So we can hold a vote.
well, usually, let me just ask a question, maybe before we make a motion. You had discussed in some of the previous conversations about the 50% rule. If you use 50% of the building, then, you know, 50% of the building's for the production on the farm, 50% is for whatever else.
Mm-hmm.
If, my thought is maybe before we contingently approve or whatever, before we go to the state, I'm wondering if I should increase the size of the building in the event that it would, the state would say it's gotta be half and half kind of deal. I would be able to put my business, you know, my trucks would be able to be, I'd have enough room for my trucks and then have to, cause we're gonna produce some hay on here and whatnot, so that we could use that as hay storage and orchard and whatever. I'd rather, I guess, have adequate size and potentially work backwards versus getting an approval and then saying, oh, wait, I need maybe more if they say the 50% rule. Would that sound reasonable?
So you're talking about two different rules. There's rural enterprise and there's ag buildings. So what
Okay.
we're arguing currently is this considered an ag building? Because
Okay.
rural enterprise, you cannot build a new building. So like, example it has is taxidermy service. It's like you can do taxidermy, but it has to be in an existing building.
Okay.
So that 50% rule is if, 50% is for your existing, business part of the farm, it's an ag building, you can build that no problem. And now your side business is considered rural enterprise. So
Okay.
you're not building a building for your side business, you're building it for the farm.
And
And
do
then
a
your
side
side business is also in it.
Okay.
So that's where like that 50% kind of comes in.
Okay.
So if you wanna go that route, then now we're just arguing, is this applicable under a rural enterprise, which I was looking at it, it seems like it is, because it says ag services.
I think it is.
So then maybe that is an option, we can go that way. Well, is it easier to argue it as an ag building or as a rural enterprise? There's two avenues here, I think.
I wouldn't get caught up on changing the size just for that. I mean,
Okay.
in my mind, an 80 by 100 shop is justified just with 80 acres of orchard,
Yeah,
without the other stuff.
sure.
So that's my feeling. But I
Once you
do.
need a hay shed, then you build yourself a hay shed.
Right.
If you wanna add it to it, then you
Sure.
add it to it.
Right.
you could build without coming up.
Gosh, right, cause yeah, I see.
No, if you're worried about, we could have a vote contingent on the state for the first
I
half,
think that,
and then
yeah.
if,
That's how
do we need a vote on the second one? Do you think this meets a rural enterprise? Like, this business, it wasn't considered ag, and he builds a hay shed, like you said, he's storing his trucks there, is this rural enterprise? Do you think it's rural? So then, would we need a vote on that? Would we want that for your sake, I'm just trying to think
Well,
about.
it would give the state some understanding of where the county's at if we have
Mhm.
a vote, either contingent vote, what this board thought was appropriate, so. I would move to, support calling this a rural enterprise that would fit the definition of rural enterprise, and we would allow the construction of the building for that end contingent upon state approval.
So, even before we get there,
Yeah.
excellent motion, I think the motion's great, but could we have a motion to amend the agenda to allow a vote? Under the new sunshine law provisions, could we have a motion to amend the agenda to allow a vote on this issue? We're not spending money. So as far as I'm concerned, I think it's relatively, since we're not it's not calling for us to spend any money. I think a vote is permissible to add this to the agenda. So would
I'll make
somebody?
a motion to add this to the agenda.
Okay, Herb, okay, Harold seconded it. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay, now, we held Curtis's motion in advance. Is there a second for that motion?
I'll second.
Got a second? All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, so it's approved subject to, state, contingent upon state approval.
Mhm.
Okay?
Yeah.
Great, thank you.
Yeah. Thanks for coming.
Yeah.
Like I said, you're free to stay if you'd like, or you can head out if you want, whatever you guys wanna do, but.
Sure his kids are just dying.
Yeah.
They've been so good. You have them well trained.
You guys awake?
Are you going for Eagle Scouts when you get there?
You guys, a little bit?
Yeah? Okay.
Thank you for being honest and coming to us.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, there's other guys that would have just done what they wanna do, and
Yeah,
we
they'll
find
go
out
ahead
after
and
the
do it
fact.
First and
ask for
apologize
forgiveness later.
Yeah.
Your ethics are good.
Yeah, well, the Lord keeps us straight.
Yes.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay. Are there any we had a change to the agenda. Are there any other changes to the agenda that we need to consider? Everybody reviewed the agenda, it's good. Motion to approve the minutes from the September meeting.
I move we approve.
Harold moved for approval.
Second. If I have them. But
Yeah, you're not on the board, are
I
you?
keep trying to help.
Okay, Merv seconded. All those in favor say aye. Aye.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it would be a conflict of interest, I guess, because I have my vote at the county.
That's right, yes. Okay, all right, Craig, you're up.
All right, treasurer's report. I forgot to put that in the email, so I printed it out for everyone. Income, nothing over there. Expenses are also in here. We have the more envelopes. That's really all their expenses for administrative. For the easement program, we have our interest. We have Esther May Martin final donation. We got another $108 finalizing. I'm not sure why, but
There must have been a certain amount of money left in the estate.
yeah.
Yeah.
So we got a little more there. Incidentals for the skater closing, and then we have anvil transfer in, anvil transfer out. Glad Hannah's here. So can you explain why that's going in and out? I feel like it was
Does
confusing.
it not usually show up like that?
No, no, it doesn't.
Oh,
Not
okay.
like in and out in the same one.
Okay.
We had it as income and expenses, but I think we talked about it. It's not necessarily expense. It's just that's right. It's not necessarily expense. It's an escrow, and we're just transferring. Well, it's not an escrow. We're just transferring it to the county, aren't we?
Yeah, that's true.
Right, so we get it in, we transfer to the county, so it's never income, so it's not really expenses. So we used to say, anvil in, anvil out, but it's really just goes to another bank account. So that's why we have it as positive and negative, both on income. Sorry, remembered. Expenses, appraisals. It's 2,500 because Musser was federal and that was more expensive.
And when did it change from 15 to 1,600?
A few years ago.
Okay.
2 years ago? Yeah. So it's been a little bit.
I mean, we approved the treasury report.
Second.
All those in favor? Any opposed? Ayes have it.
Okay, funding update. We received one donation so far from Union Township. They always submit it as early as possible, so the $1,000 donation. Can we do a motion to accept that donation?
If you can certainly, there's nothing that says you can't do a motion to accept the donation, so.
Yeah, so.
All right.
I didn't include it, so I guess we need a motion to accept that donation.
Is there a motion to accept the donation?
I so move.
Dale moved to accept
Second.
it. Curtis, second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay, ayes have it.
Okay. So we requested 80,000 for administrative, 150,000 like we normally do. You know, that's the extreme one when we present it, 150,000, but we want to keep moving forward. And then the 3,000 for donation incidentals. I think I talked to you earlier. It hasn't been decided yet what we're getting.
Yeah, we're still trying to get that $5 million deficit down.
I heard about that.
I don't think it's going to happen, but Jamie's going to work on it by perhaps if there's unfilled vacancies for a long time and they're functioning fine, maybe they don't really need all those employees, that sort of thing. It's not going to knock it down 4 million, but they're working on it. I mean, 5 million. It might go to 4.
So we're just waiting on updates from that when that happens. Okay, new appraisals and subsequent offers. So we have Bruce and Laura Heidinger, North Lebanon, about 45 acres, they're gonna need a survey. And Elvin and Leanne Martin, Joseph and Dawn Betweiler, Bethel, about 35.67 acres, they're gonna need a survey as well.
Were these the ones approved online?
Yeah, so we can do a formal approval, we just, to go ahead and go forth with that. So I have their folders here, if anybody has any questions about those, but they were next on our ranking list, and we're approving these now because the Mumas decided not to continue with preservation. Didn't really give me a reason, they just were talking about subdividing or withholding, and they were talking with the family, and they couldn't just get a solid answer of what they wanted to do, so. They just decided not to go forward with it, which was unfortunate. So then their funds went to these farms.
Did they already give us their, okay, so that's another one that I have to.
Yeah, that one we're keeping their 2,500 to cover, because we did get an appraisal for them, so
When
we'll
did
have
this
it.
happen?
A month ago, I think so.
Did I know this?
Maybe. Maybe it's
Okay.
Stuff happens.
I'll work on moving that.
That was 213 acres too, so that's.
Yeah, so the reason we're not doing as much is because the one right after that was Gail Smith, and she was at 130 acres, and we were just like 5 or 10 acres short of getting hers, so.
Oh,
Yeah, so it'll just go to the next round. Because with the Mumas, we were short, like, I think 4 acres worth, but we were fine with just going because they would be preserved by the time we get to the next fund, but we were too short, I think, for Gail Smith. Any questions with those?
So we made
Some more, yeah, we got a bunch today.
We made offers pursuant to the appraisal. Where do we need,
We need to get appraisals, yeah, so I have to go out and get all that appraisals.
there's no reason to move if we don't have an appraisal to make an offer.
Okay, so we don't have to move to get
Okay, we can go ahead and move to get the appraisal.
I'm just making sure, I could be
Yeah.
wrong, but I thought we had to move forward to getting the appraisal.
Then is there a motion to move forward for getting an appraisal for these properties?
So,
Merv moved, is there a second?
I'll second.
Dale seconded. All those in favor? Ayes have it.
So then, new scores, I don't know where the folders were, they were going around.
On the floor over here.
Oh, okay, yeah, there was quite a few. So we have Raymond Esther Zimmerman, he got 69 points. Adam Moyer, 65 points. And then I want to talk about this. I don't know what we want to do. So they have Michael and Rodney, mayor, Clyde and Carolyn mayor, and then both of them together on one. So there's 3 parcels. One has the 2, one has the 2, and one has all of them. We only let people preserve one of their farms, and then they have to wait 2 years to preserve their next farm. I don't know how we go about doing this. So if one of them's preserved, do we not preserve the other one where they're both on it? Do they have to wait? Or
Is that when they're adjoining, or is that when they're separated?
Yeah, it doesn't. It's just we don't want one person to buy a farm and then use the funds to buy a new farm to get preserved by a new farm, and then we're just preserving one person consistently. So there's a waiting period to preserve your farm.
But if they bought it all at the same time, so they already own it.
Well, we can't preserve all of them together because all the deeds are different. That's the problem. If they were all under the same name, we could do all of them. But you have
So we have 3 different farms and 2 of them have the same name.
Yes.
So we can only do one of the 2 that have the same name.
Well,
One is A, one is B, one is AB. So it's like, if A gets preserved, can we preserve AB, or are they gonna have to wait? I would say probably they have to wait.
I would think so. I mean, the logical thing would do the parents and then do the sons, and 2 years from now, do the combined one.
Well, it depends how they're, so the top ranking one would be Michael and Rodney, and then the next one is all, they're combined.
Right.
So if in 1 year you could preserve both, would we be allowed to do that? I don't know this come up, but
Did we make that rule? The board, like Lebanon made that rule?
I don't know.
Or the
It's been ever
state.
since.
It's been a long time.
Yeah, I don't know who made the rule, but it's in our.
I would, I would think we could revisit that, but
So we had had it before that somebody had 3 farms in the same name that wanted to do that. And they
okay.
can't.
Yeah, because ideally, like, if you were really good, you take the funds, like-kind exchange, buy a new property with those funds, don't pay taxes, preserve.
I mean,
that.
back then, that might have helped to get your property. I don't know that would do it now. I mean,
Make a down payment.
yeah.
It was still,
So I'm just not sure what we would do in that case. If we had a year we could preserve both, are we allowed to do that? I thought I'd bring it up. I mean, we put all of them on the list, and when we get there, we get there if it's a problem. But thought I'd bring it to your attention.
All precedent,
Okay.
whatever we've done in the past.
Okay. So Michael Rodney's 59.47 points. Wilbur and Susan Resto is 52.88 points. Clive, Karen, and Michael are 50.54 points. Douglas Hartman and Edward Rose is 50 points, contingent on Randy Leisure being preserved. So they're too small to be preserved, but Randy's donating, so once that's preserved, they can get preserved. They're lower on the list, so I didn't think it was a problem. I have it highlighted in notes that it's contingent on Randy, and Randy should be preserved next year, if how things are going, so it should be fine. And then we have Lee and Elaine Hitz, 47.97 points, and then Clyde and Carolyn, 40.88. Which I'm not sure why they're so low. They're touching the other 2 properties, but their soil was half, if not less. I looked into it, I'm not sure why, just the way it worked out.
It's rolling ground there too.
Yeah, their farm there is very steep.
so what they normally do is do the highest score first.
Right.
Then the next one could go on the list.
Yeah, I'm just saying, like, if you could preserve both in the same year, what would you do? Could you do that? Because then one person would be preserving 2 of their farms, even though they're only half interest.
Yeah, I think
So,
like Curtis said that.
I think they can, the Meyer family can decide which they would prefer to have and just pull the other ones off and bring them back in after, if you wanna get a lower one, but.
I'm not sure why we would care.
just because our one rule says you can't preserve 2 of your own farms.
In the same year.
Yeah, well, you have to wait 2
Why,
years.
I don't,
Well, there was abuse. People were getting to the top of the list of preserving multiple farms. I mean, I don't wanna recount the story in detail here, but there was abuse.
okay,
Yeah.
gotcha.
So I guess I'm just looking for a motion to approve the new scores.
Second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Ayes have it.
Okay. Then we have our final ranking list. The ones in bold are the new ones. You can see Zimmerman and Moyer are at the top. David Fletcher Lanker is in 3rd. he was the one who was going to preserve, but he wasn't happy with being able to go on preserved land if you know, like, thought there was a problem without, letting them know. He said he put it on hold until they can solve that. I don't think that is going to be resolved, so I imagine he just won't be able to be preserved. So then you have Michael and Rodney, Susan Breckville, Michael and Gail Smith. Well, I guess I don't need to read through all of them. But I guess I'd be looking for a motion to approve the final ranking list.
Is there a motion?
I move we approve the final ranking.
Okay,
But if Lanker, okay, I'm sorry.
discussion? Okay, we have a motion? Now, is there discussion?
If Lanker's not gonna be on the list, why is he on the list?
Because he didn't withdraw, he wanted to be put back on the list and he wanted to discuss it further later and have time to talk. He didn't have
Okay.
enough time to discuss, so. I don't think his wants are going to be addressed.
Got it.
So what about Ricky and Roberta Bayshore, like, if he passed away?
Did he pass away? I'll have to check to make sure, because I know Jacqueline Buffenmeyer filled in. She's the niece of, Lauf? Is that who she filled in for?
Wouldn't the farm itself still stay on the list and then whoever?
Yeah, as long as they're still interested. Jacqueline was still interested, but I send out the updates, and if they don't update, I just assume nothing's changed, but if they passed away, I didn't know anything.
He did, but I don't know that it would change anything, I was just wondering.
Well, unless the next line is still interested, I'm not sure, I'll have to reach out and check for that. Thank you for.
I think the son's name's Ricky as well, and I think
But
he's,
he's not Roberta. I mean,
I think he
oh, it took that.
is, I
Oh,
think he's gonna be the owner of that.
okay.
Okay, we have a motion to approve the final ranking list. Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, second from Dale. All those in favor?
Aye.
Ayes have it.
Okay. Balmer preservation. So, the Balmers over at 2712 South Pine Grove Street. It's about 25 acres. It's right next to, Malfair? No. Yeah?
Yeah.
It's Malfair. Because he had 3 properties there. Hold on. Yeah, Dale Malfair. He's right next to there. So he was in process of getting preserved, and he needed to offer last November, and so he had a year to get a survey. And I called him yesterday, and he said he made no process on it. He was waiting to do some of the chicken houses, and he doesn't talk to anyone, doesn't call anyone. And so, from our book, it says we're supposed to withdraw our offer. So I wanted to see if are we going to withdraw our offer? Are we going to offer an extension? What do we want to do? Do we have that choice? So I can show you the language here.
Do you act like there's any immediacy, anything happening?
He was going to get the chicken house, and he was doing something with the chicken house. So he was like, "Oh, we put that on hold." I said, "Okay, well, have you talked to anyone?" He's like, "Yeah." I said, "How long ago?" He was a while ago. I said, "Have you made any progress at all trying to get this done?" And he said, "No." I said, "Okay, well, I'm gonna have to talk to the board and see what's going on." Yeah, so if a new perimeter survey is required, the applicant will need to present a new survey meeting the standards within a year of receipt or a written offer under subsection 11.2. Failure to do so will result in the county board withdrawing the offer. I don't know if that means we have
So
to
he
do
hasn't presented a survey.
And he's not on he's not on the cusp of doing it, apparently there's no progress been made, it seems like a no-brainer.
Yeah, he hasn't even called anyone yet, so if he calls now, it could take another 6 months. So,
Yeah.
do we want to extend? Do we want to withhold? That's what we got to figure out for withdrawal.
I think the language says it's withdrawn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Pretty clear.
that's pretty clear, so.
I mean, if it's like, they've done the survey, the guy didn't get back with the report, it's at the calendar, yeah, give him a couple of days, week to finish up, if you haven't even begun the process, I don't think there's any debate.
Okay.
Yeah, I agree. Motion, put that in the form of a motion. Motion withdraw. I think the language says that it happens, but
I would move to withdraw that, offer to the, Matt and Jennifer Balmer based on their failure to pursue a survey.
Second.
Second by Merv, all those in favor?
Aye.
Ayes have it.
So that'll be another 2,500 that we keep. So I'll let them know that we're withdrawing. Okay. So then we have status updates. So if you look at the in-process list, Preserve, we have Kevin, Lauren Snyder, Jamie and Weaver preserved yesterday, Clovis and Joanna Crane preserved 2 weeks ago. So we have Klaus and Amanda Peterson, they're federal, they'll close in January. We have the checks, they just wanted to wait to January for tax purposes. We're waiting on Paul Myers, checks, things might be a little slow because he was federal and, you know, the government was closed. Harold and Dawn, we should get the checks in January and February, same with Mark and Sandra, Timothy and Deborah, all in January, February. The Hebels, January, February. So then we have Musser and Alman. Musser will be going to the February State Board meeting. Alman should. We were waiting on the appraisal for him. It's taking a while. It's one of the federal appraisals, but once we have that, we should have everything we need. Hades and Lights should be going to the February board meeting. Lights are having some problems with the one lender. We need a subordination agreement, and we need it before the end of the year to encumber. And they just emailed recently saying they might not be able to do that. And I let them know that you need to do that or we're going to lose funds. So they're really going to try to force it. I don't know why it's taking so long. The Balmers, we just voted on. Randy and Ann, waiting on a perimeter survey, and then once that's done, we can move ahead with the donation. Forst, we're going to go to the December meeting here. Zimmerman, we're going to try at the February meeting. Lecker, we're waiting on appraisal. Eli and Darling Nolt, I just messaged them again. We want to do their appraisal, but we wanted to make sure their solar contract had ended, which they haven't gotten to me yet. So I tried to call and I didn't get a hold of them, so I tried to email. So we're waiting on that, and then we're going to reach out to Martins and the Highlingers for getting the appraisal ready, which we voted on tonight. So, a lot going on.
If I get back to the Balmers, I just noticed, you know, they're federal and they're only 22 acres, and they want to put chicken houses on. Do they understand the impervious limitations? It might
They are
be-
not federal.
Oh, I thought they.
No, so I highlighted their waiting on survey because that was just what we're talking about.
But it says here, Balmer map, that yes on federal funding.
Walmer, what?
They didn't build their chicken houses on this property.
Oh,
That's a different property.
Oh, we're
Yeah,
talking
I
about
have-
different properties. That's,
Yeah.
okay, I did not know that.
I have federal here, you're right, it shouldn't be federal.
Well, you said a $2,600 appraisal. That's also got my attention. Or $2,500 appraisal.
Was that for the Balmers or the Mustards? Are you talking about like the report here? Like
No, when we said we're gonna withdraw the offer to the Balmers, you said that'll be another $2,500.
Yeah, so they paid $2,500 to cover the cost of getting appraisal, which
Oh.
was in 16, so now we're gonna have to
They do.
keep
This
that money.
confuses me on like a weekly basis.
Yes.
Okay.
Um,
Have a good
that's a
company.
different $2,500.
Yeah, so we have their money in escrow, which will keep to cover our expenses, my time.
I
such.
understand. Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry for the confusion.
Yeah, no problem. That might be an error that they were going to federal. They might have been originally interested, but they weren't planning on doing federal for.
And they're not putting chicken houses on the 25-acre tract.
No.
According to
No.
Gary. So.
Yeah, they were doing it somewhere else, and they kind of put it on the back burner. He did say he's like nobody told me I had a year deadline, but I informed him when I met him to the offer. He has a year for the survey. I let everyone know. I mean, it's in our manual. It's not in the letter that they sign, but it's in our manual and I provided to them. So maybe I should add that to the letter to say they have a year. So we don't have a problem again.
Good idea.
Okay, so that's the updates, inspections, everything's going well. Inquiries, everything's going well. Nothing really since we just passed the 8. Other updates, we have 193 easements, 244 farms, 21,464 acres, preserved for this board meeting. No updates to the state, and this will be my last meeting, and then I'm out of here from North Carolina. So, just want to thank you guys. It's been a pleasure working with you. been really easy. Thank you.
Thank
Yes,
you.
thank you very
Yeah.
much.
Good job.
Done a great job.
We're gonna miss you.
Institutional knowledge you accrued in the last 6 years, you'll leave it here someplace,
In
Nah,
the
have a
vault.
manual that says good luck.
but.
No, yeah,
He writes the best standard operating procedures out of anybody in the office.
Oh, good, that's good to hear.
yeah, I write all my frustrations in there too. Very not formal, but I have stuff for the board meeting, so hopefully it goes well.
Well, I hope your new employer appreciates you as much as we do. And if they don't, come on back.
Will do, thank you.
The commute might be a little hairy, but.
I know, it's 8 hours.
You need a motion to adjourn?
Might as well.
Well, sorry, one more thing. Miranda provided this, our first annual agricultural conservation and preservation banquet. So we have a banquet coming up.
Wow.
You know, we're trying
Raise money.
to raise money in the community. I had brought up to you guys, we're getting, you know, drone images of people who preserve this 2025. Every annual thing will get drone images of the farm. That's a way to say thank you. And this time around, they have Don't Tell the Bishop, which is a very popular comedian.
Oh.
The Amish guy.
So it's gonna be fun.
Tell the bishop.
Yeah, so. Please show up if you're interested. And, spread the word.
So
Is that
maybe we
sponsorship?
should know who Hannah Hartman is, but I don't.
Oh, I'm
Is that-
sorry. This is Hannah Hartman, my manager. So
that-
Hannah, my man.
Hannah, my manager. So she's coming to figure out how I do the board, so we can train the next person.
Okay, so you're not gonna be the next person. somebody-
No.
Yeah,
She has a good job.
7:30 on a Thursday is rough for me.
Okay.
I like to be in bed.
yeah.
Very
When
good.
is the bank?
There's a little card. Oh, didn't you get one?
And you also have a sponsorship letter there. If you know of any
Oh, February
businesses
10th,
that would like to sponsor us, you know, they get a couple free tickets, some
I had one.
some representation on the tables, or you know, whatever they say there.
Thank you.
So if you know anybody and you want them to sponsor us, you can either hand them that copy or get a different copy from us, and yeah, we appreciate it.
So the farm owner, the Broussard farm owner is gonna be invited for free?
Yes, yes. We're sending out a certain amount of free tickets. We're sending them to actually, I think, all of our preserve farms. I think we're sending them to all of our preserve farms. And people that we're actively working on like farm projects with right now. And people that get an invite will have 2 free tickets. So the sponsorships are kind of to help cover the free tickets that we're giving out.
And 1,500 is a table with 8
Yes.
dinners. The $1,500 spot. That's a big one, platinum or something.
So that's everything for me.
Now you're leaving you're gonna miss out on this.
Yeah, I'm not gonna get to see Don't Tell the Bishop. You know?
As in,
Yeah, it's really
Live stream it.
You just get married, now she takes you to North Carolina.
yeah, no.
It's not her fault.
Well, so we're moving down there for her work because she's working remotely, but you know she can't really continue her career that way. So we're moving closer to the offices. It's a little warmer down there. A little more to do.
Do you have anything waiting for you yet, or is it?
I've been applying. I got denied a junior environmental specialist today, as well as a water set or a wetland person. So 2 denials so far. We're getting there.
did you start keeping an Excel sheet?
Yep.
It's pretty sad when you have to put in the denials.
Yep. Highlighted red.
Keep the faith. You'll find the right fit.
We'll find it.
Just hide the row.
Yeah.
There you go.
What's your closest town?
So we're right by Charlotte.
Oh,
And like we're in the border of South Carolina, so I'm looking towards South Carolina for more ag stuff.
Our loss is somebody else's gain?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, motion to adjourn?
I move we adjourn.
So moved, second, or second, all those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, ayes have it.